Ciao, I'm Kate Portanova, your host, Italy Experience Guide, and lifelong lover of all things Florence. This podcast is your ticket to discovering the authentic side of Florence and Italy, one story, one dish, and one piazza at a time. Whether you're dreaming of sipping espresso in a bustling cafe, wandering cobblestone streets filled with history, or connecting with locals to experience La Vera Italia, you're in the right place. Join me as I share my journey of living, breathing, and embracing Florence's beauty, culture, and charm. Along the way, we'll explore slow travel, cultural immersion, and the simple joys of Italian life, with plenty of insider tips and heartfelt stories to inspire your next adventure. So grab your cappuccino, before noon, of course, and let's dive into the magic of Florence together. Ciao, everybody. I am back. It is the end of summer. It fell off the wagon of podcasting since my trip in June with Stefano. I just didn't have, I have ideas, but I lost the momentum, and I apologize for my listeners. I've gotten a lot of emails, messages on Instagram and other social gathering places. And I appreciate all of you that are listening. I really can't believe I have the followers that I have. I didn't think I was going to have any followers when I created this podcast, and or just my family. You know, as we do. But I'm grateful that you're still here and you're still listening. I'm still deeply in love with Italy. It has not left me. That's not because I haven't been recording anything. It was a busy summer. I have a lot going on personally in my life, and then also trying to keep Truly Italy going. I had some thoughts this summer if I was going to keep it going or not, and my husband Stefano was just like, what do you have to lose? So it's slow going, as every new business is, and I'm okay with that because it's just me. Those of you that are first time listening, I am a Tuscany experience expert. I have been traveling to Italy for 20 years on and off. I've lived in Florence for many, many years. I was a resident of Florence. I speak fluent Italian. I'm married to Stefano, my love of my life. He's from Florence. Yeah, so it's been an interesting summer, let's say. It wasn't as bad as my last summer. I had a tough time at my 9-to-5 job. So, and that 9-to-5 job is still there. It's not what I want to be doing. I'll be honest. I do not want to do fitness much longer. I have been on an ongoing search for something more related to travel and just jumping in to the travel industry. And I've had so many interviews this year, trying to get out from where I'm at right now. So I hope this podcast episode gives me momentum to keep moving forward with my dream, because I am so sick of just trying to make money, and trying to pay my bills, as much as that's important, right? We have to pay our bills. We have to take care of the people around us, and but I'm really looking for something more with passion and more with like-minded people. And if you're out there in the world listening to this, I am an able-bodied woman that knows a lot about Italy, would preferably just work with Italy, and I would love to work in your company. So I'm putting it out there into the universe, and I'm saying it out loud because I've been hiding it for over a year. So yeah, I wanted to talk about my trip in June, just briefly. This is going to be a quick podcast, and when I say that, it's probably going to be long. So let's make sure it's quick. Come on, Katie. No tangenting. I always go on a tangent. So our trip in June was very, very short. It was, I think, exactly 5 days. And that's probably one of the shortest trips we have had, as when we've traveled back to Italy a lot. Usually it's at least 2 weeks, 10 days. But this time it was somewhat of a melancholy type trip, because my mother-in-law was able to finally sell my father-in-law, or her house, which has been kind of a burden on her since he passed in 2020, Gosh darn it. 2021. 2021. Sorry. 2022. No, it's 2022. God, time flies, guys. Especially when you're thinking of somebody that passed. You don't want to remember it, but it's somehow always in your mind. Side note, my Nana, who I'm very, very connected with, you've probably heard me cry about her on this podcast. She died on our anniversary, September 12th. So I will always remember you, Nana. That's just what she wanted me to do. Yeah, so the trip was really quick. Was good because I didn't have to see the house, because I would get really emotional because that house it was a beautiful house, but it's going to a beautiful family, and I'm happy that my mother-in-law's happy and everyone else is in their places that they need to be. We actually rented an Airbnb in the center of Florence near my friend, one of my best friends, Simone. And we had an amazing time with them. It was freaking Hades outside, though. It was about 115, 110 every day. Those of you that have traveled to Italy in June, you understand, or if you're there now, you understand. Yes, it was incredibly hot. Luckily, the Airbnb we got had air conditioning in every room except the bathroom. Yeah, so it was fine. It wasn't my favorite trip, but it was fun because I got to see people I wanted to see. We got to see our friend Matteo. We got to see our friend Alessandra Adriana. We were in a place where we could be somewhat relaxed, but we didn't have to be driving everywhere. Luckily, Stefano and I didn't have to drive like 1,000, 1,500 kilometers everywhere. The only thing that sucked about that trip, this is why I'm bringing it up, because I know a lot of you guys that are listening to me, you travel to Italy. This is something a veteran traveler to Italy. I wish I confirmed this with my bank. So I had mentioned this on one of my social channels. So I had a horrible first day in what we did. I mostly had it because I had to call the bank on and off. Okay, I digress. Okay, sorry. So we get there. We don't have any euros, so we have to go to the ATM or the bancomat. And we go to a bank. We don't like to go to the ones in the tabaccaria or the bar or the Indian or Chinese stores. I feel more comfortable at a legitimate bank in Italy. And I've always told all of my clients that, because I know people can steal your information so easily nowadays. So we go to one of the banks that I had. I had so many bank accounts when I lived in Italy. So Monte dei Paschi, which is the first and oldest bank in all of the world. So we went there and we got an error message. And Stefan was like, okay, maybe I got my PIN wrong. Why don't you try? And we, have a joint account. So I'm like, okay, fine. I tried. Nothing happened. Great. Got an error message. Just said, we can't do this operation, blah, blah, blah. But we didn't get like a receipt or anything. Okay. But we need this money because we needed to pay my mother-in-law for something having to do with the house. Anyway, go to another bank down the street. Same thing. Nothing. Doesn't give us a receipt, doesn't give us anything. So I start freaking out. I'm like, okay. I go into the bank, I look at our app, and I'm like, oh my God, it took $400 from us when we didn't get anything. Long story short, we spent the first 2 days going back and forth to the bank, talking to the teller, because he was looking at us like we were, trying to trick him and stuff. And I'm like, no, I'm serious. Look at what this says. Look at what it's doing. But we did it with him. And then he's like, okay, I'm going to, when the guy for the ATM, because apparently bank tellers in Italy have no control over the ATMs like we do in the States. So there's a guy that comes and services it and can check to see if the transaction happened or not. Anyway, called my bank. They're like, oh, well, you have to go back to the bank and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I did all that. What happened was, so they found no transaction that happened, the bank. And I called my bank and I said, it didn't happen. Nothing happened. We got no money. We got nothing. And of course, they credited it to us. But then they also said to me, oh, by the by, we only have 8 locations in Italy that you can get money out. And they're all American military bases. I'm like, oh, really? I don't have 5 hours to drive down to Naples to get 500 euro out or 250 euro out. It was such an inconvenience, and it pissed me off because I'm like, I should know better. But you live and you learn. When I planned on not using our credit card the whole time, we used the credit card the whole time. And it was unfortunate. I felt bad for our friends because a lot of the things you should pay in cash. Not a lot of places accept credit cards all the time. So luckily, we had some friends like loan us some money. I sent the money back. Like, this is my one travel tip of this podcast. Check your bank for sure that they bank in Italy when you travel, because even if you've been with the bank for 20 years, which I've been with this bank for 20 years, I mean, it's gone with different managements and different names of banks and whatever, but I'm like, it's never happened. Last September, it worked fine. It's crazy, guys. So yeah, that's my tip for the day. And yeah, we really quick trip, and the house was sold. We're currently waiting for the money that we inherited, I guess, because in Italy, if you didn't know, when a parent sells a house, it is divided up between the other parent, if it's still alive, if the parent's still alive, and a sibling, if there's a sibling. So each of us, Stefano and his sister, got a fourth of the sale, and then my mother-in-law got half of the sale. And that's just how it works in Italy. It's a law. So yeah, so we're waiting for that to clear and figuring out what we're going to do with it. And I'll get to that later. I wanted to reach out and just say thank you to Diane and Taylor. And I know there's somebody else, I was going to look it up, somebody else that contacted me through Instagram, and they say they love my podcast, so they enjoyed something. I thank you for your notes. Thank you for your kind words. Oh, Jamie, she's local to me. I think what's important is that, like, when you're a solopreneur, when you're a small business owner, you really don't hear a lot from your fans or clients, or unless you are very successful and you're getting feedback and you're getting, testimonials. I'm just very grateful that you took the time to write me and tell me how much you like my podcast and how much you like this episode, or this reminded you of your travel abroad days, like study abroad days. And that was the other thing. I thought I was hitting like a niche, or like a niche, there's certain women that have contacted me recently that have studied abroad in the past, and now they have their lives, they have children, grandchildren, and stuff like that, and they just remember living in Florence or living in Rome or wherever they were. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that what I explain in my stories and everything bring you back to that time, because I think there's like something here. Like, I would love to connect with you more. If there's other people out there that are listening to my podcast or listening to this episode, or somebody that studied abroad in Florence or in anywhere in Italy, like, I'd love to connect with you. Like, I love talking about Italy. I love talking about my time there, and I love reminiscing about what I learned when I lived abroad on my own, and finding my way around a city, and you know learning how to get a job, how to open a bank account. Like, when I got my residency, like, that was the most amazing day of my life, because it was all meant to be. And if there are people out there that want to connect like that, I am open and willing to like start something with you. I don't know what it's going to be, but I love to connect, because I need more people. I need more people that love Italy in my life. Whoever said that before? Just me. But I appreciate all of you. Diane, I appreciate all your notes about what you want me to put on the podcast, and I am going to work on that for you. So stay tuned. So lastly, I'm going to cut this. I said I was going to make it short. It's going to be 20 minutes, I promise. Lastly, I have an announcement. This is something that it's up in the air, but it's still like something I'm striving for. I said at the beginning of the podcast that I'm looking for a new job. It's true. I am. I just had an interview literally 2 seconds ago with a company in the city. So I'm trying to get into the travel realm, but I'm also really trying to make Truly Italy my full-time thing. So I'm focusing on what makes me happy. So what makes me happy, and Stefano, because he's not having a good time at his job either, must be what's going on in the world. I don't need to say much about that. But so we have a 2 to 3 year plan, me and Stefano. We are ready to move back to Italy. We have been here. He's been here over 10 years now. He has made the money that he wanted to make. We're just not happy here anymore. And I mean, regardless of what's going on in our government and what's happening with, prices and living standards and all the things and horrible things that are happening in the government and what they're doing to people. And I'm just saddened by it all. And if I have a choice to be somewhere else, I choose to be somewhere else. And as much as I, love being close to family and friends, we have decided that we are starting to look for a way out. And that leads me to say that I also mentioned on the socials that I am starting my Italian citizenship process. Finally, after 11 years, more than that, I've been trying to get Italian citizenship since 2003 after I got back from Italy. So many, many, many years. So luckily now it's easier because I'm married to an Italian. I did my Italian test down in the city in July, and now I'm just waiting for all this paperwork to come in, pay the price, and then hopefully be an Italian citizen at the end of this year, God willing. So we're looking at trying to move over back to Tuscany. We keep going back, Tuscany, Puglia, Sicily, Calabria, I don't know, but we feel mostly at home in Tuscany because all of our friends are there. For me, I haven't been to Sicily or Calabria, and I know many people from both those places. They're amazing people. I just feel more at home in Tuscany, and Stefano's home is Tuscany. So yeah, we're looking at maybe renting for a year until we find the place we want. And what I'm really excited about, which I hope this happens, and I'm putting it out on my podcast. I'm afraid to put it out because I don't know if it's going to happen, but I'm going to put it out anyway because it's a dream of mine, and it's a dream of Stefano's. He's just recently told me this. We want to buy a place that can be turned into an agriturismo. So not a big place, but a place that has a main house and 3 or 4 apartments, because we want it to be a self-catering type of experience, and a pool. We want to have a pool, of course. So yeah, and then, my trips will be in Italy all the time because I have a space for it. And that's our dream. That's what we're working towards. Anyway, I have made it to almost 20 minutes, so I'm going to cut it here. But I'm going to put in, hopefully when I put this out, I'm going to talk on the socials and see if there's any of my study abroad fellow students. I don't care how old you are. I would just love to connect with you and see what I could create with you guys. I don't know. A trip, an intimate group, and we can talk Italian movies, Italian sayings. I don't know what it is, but there's something there because you guys keep reaching out to me for a reason. And yeah, I want to be there. I want to be there, and I want to talk to my people. That's what I want to do. Okay, allora. Buongiorno, buonasera, buonanotte, wherever you are. And I'll see you on the next podcast. I promise there'll be another one. Ciao, ciao. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the heart of Florence and beyond. I hope today's episode has inspired you to slow down, embrace authentic travel, and connect with the beauty of Italian culture. If you loved what you heard, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share the magic of Florence and me with your fellow travelers. Until next time, remember, the best way to travel is slowly. Ciao for now. See you in the next episode.